Hello everyone, I welcome you all to this first lecture session on fluid dynamics. In this lecture, we will going to study about introduction to fluid dynamics, then energy of a flowing fluid, then forces acting on a flowing fluid, then derivation on Euler's equation, then Bernoulli's equation derivation, then finally numerical on Bernoulli's equation. Now coming to fluid dynamics. In the last lecture, that is fluid kinematics, we have studied the velocity and acceleration at a point in a fluid flow without taking into consideration the forces causing the flow. In fluid kinematics, we didn't consider forces which causes the motion. But in fluid dynamics, we are considering the forces which causes the motion. Fluid dynamics deals with the fluid motion considering the forces causing the motion. The dynamics of fluid motion is governed by Euler's equation and Bernoulli's equation. These equations can be derived by Newton's second law of motion, which states that the resultant force on any fluid element must be equal to the product of mass and acceleration of the element. In this chapter, the derivation of energy equation and momentum equation along with their applications for solving wide range of fluid flow problems have been discussed. So, fluid dynamics is the branch of science which deals with the study of fluid motion considering the forces causing the motion. The dynamic behavior of the fluid flow is analyzed by the Newton's second law of motion. Newton's second law of motion is nothing but force is equal to mass into acceleration. Now we will see what are the energy associated with the fluid element that may exist in several forms. Mainly there are three energies are associated with the fluid element. They are potential energy, kinetic energy and pressure energy. In the fluid flow studies, it is required to express the energy as the head of fluid in meters. That means potential energy, we have to express this potential energy in terms of potential head. Kinetic energy can be expressed in terms of kinetic head. Pressure energy can be expressed in terms of pressure head. So that we will see now. See, potential energy of the liquid at that location is m into g into z, that is mgz. So potential energy per unit weight is called potential head. So we have to keep potential energy in terms of potential head for analysis of the fluid flow. That is mgz divided by mg is nothing but z. So potential head is nothing but z. Z is the elevation from the datum line. Now we will see the kinetic energy, one more form of energy which is associated with the fluid element. So half mv square is the equation for kinetic energy. Now we will see the kinetic head. So half mv square divided by mg nothing but v square by 2g. Similarly, pressure head P by rho g. These three, potential head, kinetic head and pressure head, you have to remember. Potential head we can take it as a z. Kinetic head is nothing but v square by 2g. Pressure head is P by rho g. So what is total energy now? Sum of potential energy, kinetic head and pressure head. If you add these three heads, you will get a total head. That is z plus v square by 2g plus P by rho g. Now we will see the forces acting on the fluid element. The various forces that may influence the motion of the fluid are gravity force, pressure force, viscous force, turbulent force, compressibility force, surface tension force. Mainly these forces which act on the fluid element during the flow. So this gravity force is mainly due to weight of the fluid element. Then the pressure force, which is due to pressure gradient between the 2 points. Pressure gradient means pressure difference between the 2 points in the direction of flow. Then viscous force is mainly due to viscosity of the fluid element. Then turbulent force, which is mainly due to turbulence of the flow. Then compressibility force, which is mainly due to elastic property of the fluid. Surface tension is mainly due to cohesive property of the fluid. Then gravity force's notation is Fg. Pressure force notation is Fp. Similarly, Fv, Ft, and so on. Now we will see the equation of motion. If the moving fluid element of mass m is influenced by all mentioned forces, then according to Newton's second law of motion, the net force acting on the element in x direction is given by, we have already stated all the types of forces which is acting on a fluid element during the fluid flow. So if you want to find net force on x direction, you have to add all these forces. That is given here. Total forces acting on a fluid element: gravity force, pressure force, viscous force, then force due to turbulence, force due to compressibility, then force due to surface tension. That is equal to what? Net force acting on a fluid element is equal to mass into acceleration. So Newton's second law tells about the force which is acting on the fluid element is equal to mass into acceleration. Similarly, the net force acting in y and z direction can also obtained. You have to replace x by y and x by z. If you replace, you will get x and y and z directions net force. In most of the fluid flow problems, the surface tension and compressibility forces are not significant. That means you can neglect the force due to compressibility and force due to surface tension. If you neglect that, that equation becomes force due to gravity plus pressure force plus viscous force plus force due to turbulence. That is equal to mass into acceleration. This equation is called Reynolds equation of motion. If you neglect the compressibility force and surface tension force, the resulting equation is called Reynolds equation of motion. When the turbulent forces are neglected in a laminar or viscous flow, then above equation becomes, you have to neglect the force due to turbulence, that is Ft. Remaining equation is what? Gravitational force plus pressure force plus viscous force, that is equal to mass into acceleration. So this equation is known as Navier-Stokes equation. Navier-Stokes equation. You have to neglect the force due to turbulence so that you will get Fg plus Fp plus Fv is equal to mass into acceleration. This equation is called Navier-Stokes equation. When viscous forces are neglected, as in the ideal fluid flow problem, then above equation becomes only we will get Fg plus Fp. Remaining all forces are neglected. For an ideal flow there is no viscosity, so you can neglect force due to viscosity. That is why the resulting equation f of x is equal to Fg plus Fp along x direction, that is equal to mass into acceleration. This equation is called Euler's equation of motion. So we have to consider force due to gravity and force due to pressure for the derivation of Euler equation now. Now we will see the Euler's equation of motion derivation. Let dA, the cross-sectional area, ds be the length, rho is the density, and theta be the angle of the fluid element with the vertical surface. Now if you look at this fluid element, ds is the length of this fluid element, then theta, angle theta, be the angle of the fluid element with the vertical surface. Then what are the forces acting on this element? First you have to analyze. So mainly pressure force is acting in this direction, that is pressure into area, because we have considered small elemental distance ds. For that area is dA. P into dA will give you pressure force. So this side pressure is acting, that is P plus dou P by dou S into ds into dA, because pressure which is varies along the length of the fluid element, that varied pressure is P plus dou P by dou S into ds into dA, which is in opposite direction. This pressure is acting in this direction, then this pressure is acting in this direction, which are opposite to each other. Now one more force is acting is gravitational force, which is at an angle theta with the vertical surface. So here they have written gravitational force as rho g dA ds. So that will be explained here. You see, weight is equal to mass into gravity. What is mass? Density is equal to mass by volume. In that, mass is written as rho into volume into g as it is. Rho, what is volume for this element? Area into this length, dA into ds, and g as it is written. Finally, we will get rho g dA ds. That is written here. So in order to derive the Euler's equation of motion, first you have to see what are the forces acting on the fluid element. So here same thing written, pressure force, pressure into dA in the direction of flow. Force is equal to pressure into area. So same one more pressure which is acting opposite to the first force, pressure force, that is P plus dou P by dou S into ds into dA in the opposite direction of flow. Then one more force is gravitational force, that is rho g dA ds into cos theta. See here, cos theta, because of vertical component which is making the angle theta. So if you resolve the forces into x and y direction, you will get this W as rho g dA ds into cos theta. So from the fundamental Newton's second law of motion, from that force is equal to mass into acceleration. This concept is used for the derivation of Euler's equation of motion. Now we will see the resultant force on a fluid element in the direction of S must be equal to the mass of the fluid element into acceleration in the direction of S. Same diagram written here, shown here. So what are the forces acting on this? Just you write that now. P into dA minus y minus, because it is in opposite direction, P plus dou P by dou S into ds into dA, okay, minus gravitational force acting downward, that is why it is negative, rho into g dA ds into cos theta. That is equal to what? It is a net force acting on the element, that is equal to mass into acceleration from the Newton's second law of motion. So mass into rho dA ds, mass into, that is rho into volume into acceleration along the S direction, because a streamline flow is on S direction, that is why the suffix S is given here, AS, acceleration along direction S. So net force acting on the element is here, that is equal to mass into acceleration. So now where acceleration AS in the direction S, that is dV by dt, change in velocity with respect to time, where V is the velocity which is a function of S and time. Therefore, if you write this dV by dt using total derivative rule by chain differentiation equation, what you will get? Dou V by dou S into ds by dt plus dou V by dou t. You have to write dV by dt because this V is a function of S and t. That is why dV by dt is equal to dou V by dou S into ds by dt plus dou V by dou t. That is simplified as V into dou V by dou S plus dou V by dou t. Because ds by dt is what? Distance by time is velocity in that direction, that is V. This value is V, ds by dt. That is written here, V into dou V by dou S plus dou v by dou t. So for the Euler equation derivation, we have already said ideal flow and steady flow. Steady flow means the parameters with respect to time will not change, so you can neglect this dou v by dou t term. So that is equal to 0, dou v by dt or dv by dt we can write, because v is a function of only time now. If any function depends on only one variable, you can write partial derivative as direct derivative. Direct differential is equal to partial derivative when the parameters only dependent on one variable. Now, so dv by dt is equal to 0, just substitute here. So therefore acceleration as is equal to v into dou v by dou s. This term will go because of steady flow. So remaining is acceleration as is equal to v into dou v by dou s. Now you substitute in the equation number 1. You have the equation net force acting on the fluid element is equal to mass into acceleration. In that as term is there, that you have to substitute now. As value is v into dou v by dou s. Just substitute here. What you will get? Now you have to substitute the acceleration equation in equation number 1. Now we will see after substitution what you will get. P into dA minus P plus dou P by dou S into ds into dA minus rho into G into dA ds cos theta is equal to P into dA ds into V into dou V by dou S. This is the acceleration term they have substituted here. Mass is rho into volume. Okay. So if you substitute this, if you simplify this equation, PdA get cancelled. Remaining is minus dou P by dou S into ds dA minus rho G dA ds cos theta, and right hand side remains same. So dA ds into rho into dA ds is common. That is by dividing throughout by rho into dA ds. So you will get minus 1 by rho dou P by dou S minus G into cos theta is equal to V into dou V by dou S. Here why 1 by rho? Because there is no rho term here. We have divided throughout by rho dA ds. Here only dA ds term is there. That is why 1 by rho is came in this equation. So now this velocity is a function of s only. So we can write partial derivative as total derivative. So 1 by rho dou P by dou S written as dP by ds plus G into what is cos theta from the equation, from this triangle. Cos theta is equal to adjacent by hypotenuse. Adjacent is dz divided by ds. So cos theta is written as dz by ds plus V into dou V by dou S equal to 0. Just they have taken all the terms this side and they have replaced with the total derivative, because this velocity, pressure and velocity are function of only s. So finally we will get dP by ds into 1 by rho plus G into dz by ds plus V into dV by ds equal to 0. So if you multiply throughout by ds, okay, what you will get? Ds get cancelled each other because right hand side is 0. So remaining equation is dP by rho plus G into dz plus V into dV is equal to 0. This is the equation of Euler equation of motion. The above equation is called Euler's equation of motion. You can easily derive this equation by equating the net force equal to mass into acceleration. That's it. What are the net force acting on this element? Pressure force and gravitational force. Gravitational force is acting at an angle theta. That is why rho G dA ds into cos theta is the gravitational force. Pressure force is P into dA and minus P plus dou P by dou S into ds into dA. Why negative sign? Because it is acting in the opposite direction. Then if you simplify, you will get a final Euler's equation. Now we will see the Bernoulli's equation of motion from Euler's equation. So Euler's equation already you got. So if you integrate that equation, you will get Bernoulli's equation. For that, some assumptions you have to make. Similar to Euler's equation, the fluid is ideal, that is viscosity is 0. The flow is steady, that means parameters with respect to time will not change. The flow is incompressible, that means density remains same throughout. The flow is irrotational. With the four assumptions, we can start the derivation of Bernoulli's equation. So if you integrate the Euler's equation, that is dp by rho plus gz plus v into dv equal to constant. So under the integration, dp by rho integration is p by rho. Integration of g into dz is gz. Integration of v into dv is v square by 2 equal to constant. Because here incompressible we have assumed, so rho is constant. So finally you will get p by rho g plus z plus v square by 2g equal to constant. So p by rho g plus v square by 2g plus z is equal to constant. This is the equation of Bernoulli's. This equation is called Bernoulli's equation of motion, where p by rho g is pressure head, v square by 2g is kinetic head, z is potential head. With this Bernoulli's equation and Euler's equation of motion, we will start some problems. So we will see the first problem on Bernoulli's equation. Water is flowing through a pipe of 5 cm diameter under a pressure of 29.43 Newton per centimeter square and with the mean velocity of 2 meter per second. Find the total head or total energy per unit weight of the water at a cross section which is 5 meter above the datum line. So diameter of the pipe is given, that is 0.5 meter. Pressure is given 29.43 Newton per centimeter square. Please remember it is given in terms of Newton per centimeter square, but pressure SI unit is Pascal, that is Newton per meter square. You have to convert Newton per centimeter square to Newton per meter square by multiplying 10 to the power of plus 4. So velocity is given 2 meter per second, datum head 5 meter. So total head they asked, total head or total energy. Total energy means what? There are three energy heads are there usually: pressure head, kinetic head and potential head. Here pressure head is p by rho g and kinetic head is v square by 2g. Okay, so total head, if you add these two you will get p by rho g is just substitution, all values you have. Rho is 1000 for water, then v square by 2g velocity is given. If you substitute you will get 30 meter as pressure head, 0.204 meter as kinetic head. Total head is equal to, add these two. If there is no information about potential head, no need to consider. Okay, only two heads are given in this problem. That means you have to consider only pressure head and kinetic head for finding total head, that is 35.204 meter. Now we will see the second problem. A pipe through which water is flowing is having diameter 20 cm and 10 cm at the cross sections 1 and 2 respectively. The velocity of water at section 1 is given 4 meter per second. Find the velocity head at sections 1 and 2 and also rate of discharge. So normal one tapered pipe is given here. So by looking at the diameters 20 cm and 10 cm, we can say it is a tapered pipe which having varying cross section. Okay, we have to find out the velocity head, that is v by rho g value. We have to find out at section 1 and 2. Section 1 and 2 we have to find the velocity head. Head means v by rho g. Okay, v square by 2g is the velocity head, not v by rho g. V square by 2g. If it is section 1, it is v1 square by 2g. If you are going to find the velocity head at section 2, it is v2 square by 2g. So diameter is given. Area you can find out, cross sectional area pi d square by 4. At section 1 and 2 diameters are given. So find out area 1 and 2. Area 1 is pi d1 square by 4, that is 0.0314 meter square. D2 0.1 meter, A2 you find out 0.00785 meter square. So with this we can find out velocity head at section 1, because in order to find velocity head only we need velocity. Gravity value is 9.81, it is a universal value. Okay, acceleration due to gravity is 9.81, and v1 square by 2g value is 0.815 meter. Similarly, velocity head at section 2 is v2 square by 2g. Okay, so how will you find out now? Apply the continuity equation that we have studied in the last session. That is continuity equation a1 v1 equal to a2 v2, that is equal to q. So once you have a1 v1 and a2, you can find out v2. Find out 16 meter per second. So velocity head is equal to, at section 2, v2 square by 2g. What is the value? v2 square by 2g equal to 83.047 meter. With the help of this continuity equation, you can find out v2. With this v2, you can find out velocity head at section 2, that is v2 square by 2g. Now we will see the third problem. Rate of discharge is asked in the problem. Rate of discharge means what? Q is equal to AV or A1 V1 or A2 V2, because discharge Q is equal to A1 V1 equal to A2 V2. Any two parameter, respective parameter you can take to find discharge. So 0.0314 into 4 is equal to 0.1256 meter cube per second. If you want in liters per second, just convert by multiplying 1000, 125.6 liters per second. Now we will see the third problem. The water is flowing through a tapering pipe having diameters 0.25 meter and 0.125 meter at section 1 and 2 respectively. The discharge through the pipe is 40 liters per second. The section 1 is 5 meter above the datum and section 2 is 3 meter above the datum. Datum means reference line. If the pressure at section 1 is 0.4 megapascal, then determine the intensity of pressure at section 2. See here, datum line means one reference line is given, one tapered pipe which having the diameters 0.25 and 0.125. Okay, you can draw in this manner also, no problem, but section 1 and 2, whatever statement is given in the problem, that has to match. Okay, so we have to find out pressure intensity at section 2. Now we have to apply the Bernoulli's equation. Okay, that is P by rho g plus V square by 2g plus Z is equal to constant. At section 1 you have to apply, at section 2 also you have to apply. At section 1 all suffix 1 will come, at section 2 suffix 2 will come in the Bernoulli's equation. So now we will see the given data. Refer the figure. Let P1, V1, D1 and area A1 and Z1 be the pressure, velocity, diameter, area and height from the datum at section 1. And similarly at section 2, pressure will be P2, velocity will be V2, diameter will be D2, area will be A2 and the datum head will be Z2. So diameter D1 is 0.25 meter, D2 is 0.125 meter. Then discharge, please observe here SI unit is given in terms of liters per second. You should convert into meter cube per second by dividing 1000, 0.04 meter cube per second. So Z1 is given elevation, Z1 equal to 5 meter, Z2 is 3 meter. Elevation means at section 1 and 2 is given, Z1 they have considered this side, that is 5 meter, Z1 height Z1 is 5 meter from the datum and Z2 is 3 meter. You can draw in a reverse manner also. At section 1 is at that time is here, section 2 will be here. Okay. So now we have to find out pressure intensity. Okay. So for that, first you find area and velocity, because it is required in a Bernoulli's equation. P by rho g is the pressure head and V square by 2g is the kinetic head and Z is the potential head. So in order to substitute that, you need to find out area and velocity. A1 is equal to pi d1 square by 4 and A2 is equal to pi d2 square by 4. With the A1 you can find out V1, because discharge is equal to A1 V1. Okay, find the velocity V1 0.815 meter per second. So continuity equation you have to use to find the velocity V1 and V2. Q is equal to area into velocity. Discharge Q is equal to area into velocity. At section 1 it is A1 V1. At section 2 it is A2 V2. With the help of that equations you can find out velocity V1 and V2. So if you find area and velocity, now you can go for finding pressure intensity at section 2 with the help of Bernoulli's equation. What is Bernoulli's equation? At section 1 and 2 we have to apply P1 by rho g, rho w means water, okay, V1 square by 2g plus Z1 is equal to P2 by rho g plus V2 square by 2g plus Z2. Normal generalized Bernoulli's equation is P by rho g plus V square by 2g plus Z is equal to constant. If you apply for section 1 and 2, that equation alters to P1 by rho g plus V1 square by 2g plus Z1 is equal to P2 by rho g plus V2 square by 2g plus Z2. Just substitute the values given in the above problem. All the values we have except P2. Then pressure is given in terms of megapascal. Mega is 10 to the power of 6 Pascal. Convert that proper SI units required to solve the problem. So if you substitute all the values in a proper SI unit, you will get P2 as 414.68 kilopascal. P2 is pressure intensity at section 2. With this I am concluding the session. The following references are used for the preparation of these slides. Thank you.